RB Leipzig 1, Manchester City 1. First half, we were absolutely brilliant. Second half, it's that second half showed why we haven't won the Champions League yet, because we can't see out games. If that game was like last season or something, we would have seen that out. But because this season our defence has been a lot worse than what it's been in previous seasons, we haven't been seeing out as many games as we would like. And that, even though the draw isn't the worst result in the world, because a draw is better than losing, but with how we dominated in that first half, you feel a bit disappointed that we couldn't have got another goal or two. But it's a better result for us than it is for them, despite them playing much better than us in the second half, because we've still got the second leg at the Etihad, and at the Etihad we are much better this season than what we are away from home, and it's just unacceptable, because how we can go from one half to be playing absolutely brilliant to playing absolutely diabolical. Because the thing is, why we haven't won as many games this season as we would have liked is because we haven't been as good as at seeing out games as we have been in previous seasons, and that's another reason why we haven't won the Champions League before, because we haven't took our chances on the big occasion in Europe, and we haven't defended well enough in Europe in like the big like knockout stages. And I know you need control in the Champions League, but I feel like at times there was too much control and there wasn't that extra desire to drive forward with the ball. And Haaland was non-existent. The passes weren't going into him at all. But I did predict a draw pre-game. I didn't say 1-1. I did say 2-2 though. So it's one of them where there's positives and negatives about it. The positives is that we didn't lose when they were dominating us in the second half. The negatives that we didn't put the game to bed in the first half, and other negatives is that Pep didn't make substitutions at all, and that's when you need like reinforcements from your bench in these big European games, because I don't think you can blame everything on Pep for not making enough substitutions, but I don't think you can say that that wasn't one of the reasons why we didn't win tonight, because it was one of the reasons. And and the reason why our football is much slower compared to previous seasons is because in previous seasons when we had Sane and Sterling on the wing, our football was a lot quicker. But no offence to Mahrez and Grealish, they're not bad footballers, but they're not very fast at all. And that's why when we're going forward, teams are allowed to get back a lot quicker than what they would have done if it was like when we had Sane and Sterling, because our players ain't quick enough in the winger areas. It's like nowadays we need 2 goals to win games because we're not keeping enough clean sheets. Because, no offence to Edison, but he rarely ever keeps a clean sheet. And he made 2 big saves today, and if it wasn't for those 2 big saves, we might have lost. But it's just like when you really need Edison at that crucial moment, he always seems to let you down in terms of like saves. Whereas I feel like if you had Ortega in there, he'd make more saves. But the only thing you have with having Ortega in there is that he's going to boot the ball out of play a lot because he isn't as good out from the back as Edison is. And the creativity into Haaland is non-existent when De Bruyne isn't on the pitch. Because I know De Bruyne hasn't had his best season compared to previous seasons, but he's the only one trying to play the ball through to Haaland when he's on the pitch. And it's just like... At this moment in current time, we're passing the ball back sideways, backwards too often. I get if we were doing that in a game that we were winning comfortably, but you shouldn't be doing that in a game that you need to win. And the reason why we've had a lot of draws this season is because A, we can't finish our dinner, B, we can't keep clean sheets, 3, we take our foot off the gas in the half that we play well in, because if we play well in the first half, take our foot off in the second half, and if we play well second half, it's usually because we didn't play well in the first half. We're not playing well for like 2 halves, and there's been games where we've got away with it, in like the Manchester derby in the 6-3, because in the second half I thought we were a bit poor defensively, but there's been games where we haven't got away with it, like in the Forest game, in the Everton game, in the Liverpool game at Anfield. We were good in the first half, but we were shocking in the second half. In the Spurs game, we started the game well, but apart from that, we were shite for the rest of the game. And the consistency with City's performances hasn't been at the races at all this season, where we've had too many moments in games where we've took our foot off the gas and then ended up paying for it. Because if this was like last season and then we weren't playing with a striker, you never know, we might have scored more goals, because I'm not saying that we're a better team without Haaland, that's totally not what I'm saying, but what I am saying is that our system is far more effective with a false 9 than what it is with a striker. And we need reinforcements to the left back position, because even though Ake isn't bad at left back, he offers you absolutely jack shit going forward. And we need new wingers, because Mahrez, don't get me wrong, he has one of the best first touches in football, but apart from that goal tonight, he was non-existent. And when he was involved in the game, apart from the goal, he was giving the ball away. And Grealish, he seems to be more interested in winning free kicks and rolling around on the ground than having shots and making passes and creating chances. And I love that man on my calendar. But for me, he's got to get out of the football club. Not because he isn't good enough, but he's aging. And yes, he's popped up with a lot of important goals for us, but for me, now we need to move him on to maybe a slower paced league, maybe like Italy or Spain. Either back to Dortmund or Barcelona would be a good fit, because he'd fit in perfectly. Because Barcelona, they don't move the ball that quick, but when they do move the ball, they do it very well. Or he could fit in to Dortmund, because it can maybe be a swap deal. We get Bellingham and they get Gundogan back. Or maybe he could go to a team like Chelsea, because they don't play that fast football. Because because he's been a great club servant and he's done a lot of great things for the club. But I feel like he needs to go because he's ageing, and I don't think he's good enough for City anymore. And Bernardo Silva, even though he works his bollocks off for the team, he doesn't contribute enough in terms of like goals and assists. And even though I don't think goals and assists are everything in football, there's got to be times if your strikers and wingers ain't doing it, that your midfielders have got to pop up with goals from time to time. And Rodri, this might sound really harsh, but tonight I think he was shy. Second half, he was just giving the ball away all the time. And for me, we need at least two midfielders. We need a midfielder who can move the ball quicker than what like players like Rodri and Gundogan can, and we need a midfielder who can also contribute with goals. And we need a winger who's able to take on a fullback and take shots on quickly. Because our wingers do take on fullbacks, but they don't take shots on quickly. They always like do too much like skills and stuff, and then end up getting tackled. And we need a left back because we need Gavardio. He scored tonight. He was arguably their best player. He moves the ball out from the back quickly, and and also he can play left back and centre back. So if we ever do get injuries at centre back, we could play him there. But unless that didn't happen, we could just play him at left back. And wingers, we need Rafael Leao from AC Milan. And if we can't get Phillips up to like speed and up to fitness, then maybe he should go as well. And maybe get someone in his position. I don't personally know who we could get in that CDM position, but I know there's been a lot of mention of Declan Rice from West Ham. I personally don't think he's good enough for City, but you never know, if he did play under Pep Guardiola, he could improve and become a better player. Who's a good CDM? Maybe that's a video I could do in maybe a few days. Because I'm not going to come up with stupid names that we're not going to get, like Partey and Casemiro, because those transfers just would never happen. And if we can't get Gavardio at left back, because I feel like there's a couple of clubs who'd be willing to outbid us for him, because there's a lot of clubs out there that need centre backs. Because either they've got centre backs that ain't good enough, or centre backs that are aging. Because there are clubs that could outbid us for him, because Chelsea's name's been mentioned as well, and you can't write off like teams like Real Madrid and Barcelona in terms of like big transfer battles. And if we can't get him, then it has to be Theo Hernandez, because he's the best natural left back in the world. He offers you everything: goals, assists, defensive ability, and he's actually a left back who can actually willing to put a tackle in. Because Ake, he's good, but he's not like got that aggression that you want from a fullback. He's good at blocks, but he doesn't put in enough tackles in. And I feel like Ake needs to go back to centre back, because that's actually where he's good, because he can move the ball out from the back well, and he can also get like clearances off the line and that. And if If any of you guys have suggestions in the comment section of who we should get in that CDM position, then let me know, because it's not like a CDM that I'd want to replace Rodri out of the team. I wouldn't want that. But if we can't get Phillips up to speed, then maybe we need a new backup CDM. Thanks for watching this video. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.